Welcome to All Things Social Security. Enjoy your video. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Happy Friday. It is Friday the 27th, and it is also our Red Friday thank you day to all of our deployed military members who can't be home with their families like we can, or most of us can. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart, as I believe many of the other viewers do as well. And for everybody else on Friday, all you workers out there that are still working, God bless and thank you for all you do also. And for everyone who did work and put their time in and no longer are working or are able to work, thank you for all you've done as well. But straight and forward, thank you so much, deployed military members, and happy Red Friday. Okay, so this is fraud law review, almost as always, which you can probably tell from the fence behind me. So this particular ditty just came out the other day. It's from Virginia. It says a Newport News, this is the header. A Newport newsman pleads guilty to stealing Social Security funds from his deceased neighbor's accounts. Shocking. They told us that there are no dead people collecting Social Security. I think they must have meant that literally, and that's how they thought they can get away with saying it, because the dead person isn't the one actually collecting. It's someone pretending to be the dead person, as if the dead person's still alive and making a claim for his Social Security long after the person's passed away. Okay, so this is not that long. They don't give us many details at all. You always have to wonder about that. But apparently, according to the court documents, way back in the summer of 2018, a fellow, and I will say his name because he's already pled guilty, which means he no longer enjoys the benefit, the very valuable benefit of presumed innocent until proven guilty, one of our many wonderful constitutional rights that we need to protect. So it's Alonzo Darren McClary, age 62. Shameful. Now, he had the power of attorney given to him by his neighbor to handle certain things. And just as a little preface here, power of attorney for all you Social Security people does not give the person, the POA, any right to be your representative payee. It's not the same. SSA does not recognize it as such. Only SSA can give you the power of being a representative payee. Same with being an appointed representative, like an attorney like I would be. POA does not give them that power either. So it's still the whole, you have to apply to the SSA to get that position, and they make the decision irrespective. Doesn't mean having a POA might not help under certain circumstances, but it's not the rule of the game. So this guy had POA, which means he could do a lot of other things, but controlling the SSA monies per se directly, getting them received to him, is not something he did. He did not apparently become or choose to become representative payee. Maybe he didn't even know it existed. So in any event, he was able to make other decisions for his elderly neighbor in the event the neighbor was incapacitated or passed away. And it turns out Mr. McClary, shameful, well, this part might not be shameful. He did occasionally withdraw funds from the neighbor's bank account to assist the neighbor as needed, I guess back when the neighbor was still alive. Lo and behold, right at the beginning of COVID, February of 2020, the neighbor passes away. And this fellow didn't report it. Now, here's a funny thing. You know how normally a family member or friend is not, we don't have an obligation to report anything about our neighbors, our friends, our family, unless they're our children and they're minors. But this guy was POA. So I wonder if that put upon him, and they don't talk about this, it's not going to be a big fish to fry, but I wonder if that did put on him an obligation. Because as a POA, you do have certain obligations. I just wonder if he had an obligation he wouldn't have otherwise had to notify the SSA on behalf of the person he was POA for, that the person had passed away and is no longer obviously due Social Security, retirement, or disability benefits, or whatever benefit he was getting. I presume it was retirement. So he didn't do that. And the SSA, of course, not knowing the fellow was deceased, because remember, there's multiple avenues that kind of voluntarily report, but there's no universal that covers everyone in the country and all the states. Many states have agreements with the SSA to have their vital statistics or their funeral homes always report, and that works out often. That's a big source of the information for the SSA. And then they could say, good, give us a death certificate so we don't just take someone's word for it. So it's not all over the country. We're still fragmented, like we are in many things. What happens when you're 50 states with one federal government, but it is coming along. And oftentimes also the family members report it. Like I remember when my father passed away, I called them. I wasn't his rep payee or anything like that. I certainly wasn't a funeral director, but I just reported it because I didn't want them sending him any money, because that would, what would be the point of that? So he did not report it. And I'm not saying he had an obligation, but I think it could have been he did under his state laws, perhaps. And what he did, and this is where the problem is, he continued to draw the money that was coming in every month out of the neighbor's bank account. And apparently he took something to the extent of over $62,000 after his neighbor passed away for his own benefit and personal use. So he's going to have a sentence in May. I've talked about this before, how I don't know that the SSA OIG press area here reports the follow-up. And I always wish they did, because I always like to see what the sentences are. This guy could get up to 10 years in prison if the judge so feels it would be right. And I have to say, I think it would be right. Some people might say, but he's 62. Well, I'm not far from 62. And if I did something like that, I don't think 10 years is too much. Could it be a death sentence? Absolutely. In a sense that you're going to die in there. It's not really a death sentence, but you might live out the rest of your life in there. That's true if you're going to die earlier than most. But he did this for years. This wasn't like I'm desperate for the moment because something terrible happened and I need the money to get my kid that emergency surgery. It wasn't like that. He did this from 2018 to 2025 or 6, presumably. I'm guessing 25. So that is a monthly repeated transgression. He stole every single month. How many months is that? So we've got 7 years times 12 months. It's at 84 different violations, thefts. I would say at a minimum. I mean, to me, it seems like they could have given him 84 counts of fraud, theft of government property, etc. And they obviously are not going to choose to. So only one of them, I suppose, could give him up to 10 years in prison. I think because of the ongoing repeated choices he made, it wasn't just a one hit. Sometimes a moment of desperation and poor thinking, and then you're afraid to try to fix it because you're afraid you're going to get in trouble. I get it. That's not the case here. He continued to do it. Imagine if he just did it 1 or 2 months and then he's like, God, I shouldn't have done that. Brain fart. And then stopped. I would probably be immensely more lenient in my mind about it. But he didn't. He only stopped because he got caught. And he did it 84 times. Okay, that's my take on it. If anybody else has one, feel free to share. Again, happy Friday. Love my military, and I thank you guys so much. Always. There's so many of us that thank you so much. You don't get to see it. I know I don't get to get out much, but when I do get the pleasure of running a little errand around town and I see somebody wearing anything that suggests that they were or are military, I always go up and I say something. I say hi and thank you, just real quick. And I get the sense that they don't, particularly in my particular area, I'm in a very liberal pocket out here where maybe there's not really a lot of kids that go to the military. A lot of them live in mom's basement instead. So I don't feel like they get a lot of support. We do have a recruiting center though. So, and it is amazing how much the smile that comes to a person's face when you just show your gratitude for what they did. It takes 2 seconds of your time. It is so easy. And honestly, it brightens my day to know that I brightened their day in that tiny, tiny little way. But it is very notable, the reaction. And I just wish more people would do it. I wish they would realize that you're walking around in this store because of these guys. Otherwise, you might not be able to do that. So guys and gals, all right. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful weekend. Be safe, have some peace, have some meaning. And if you're fighting your SSD or SSI case, keep up the good fight. If you know you're disabled, keep up that good fight. All right. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for being here. And hopefully I'll see you Wednesdays at 1 p.m. at our live Q&A. Or definitely support the channel by watching some of the 12 noon daily videos that come out on whichever topic happens to be going around in the office or otherwise. And a lot of times it's questions that someone asked me and I put it into a video to give them the answer and I share it to the rest of you. All righty, take care, guys.